Imagine it's 2 a.m. Your network just goes down, critical systems offline. What happens next? For defense contractors, that's way more than just a technical glitch. It's, a real threat to the mission, maybe even your contracts. So today, we're diving deep into something crucial. Building an effective incident response plan, or IRP, specifically for CMMC compliance. Because writing policies down, that's really only half the battle. The real challenge is proving you can actually act when a cyber incident hits.
That's exactly right. CMMC 2.0 isn't just about trying to prevent every single breach, which isn't realistic anyway. It's fundamentally about knowing how to detect them, respond effectively, and crucially, recover quickly when something does get through. And let's not forget, there's already DFARS, 252.204.701. Well, that's the DoD rule. It requires you to report cyber incidents within 72 hours.
72 hours. Wow.
Yeah, and without a clear, well-tested incident response plan, meeting that deadline is, frankly, incredibly tough. And failing there puts your contracts, maybe your whole business, at serious risk.
Okay, so our mission today then is to unpack the key parts, the practical steps, to make an IRP that's not just a binder on a shelf, but something manageable and, genuinely effective for you. All right, let's dig into this. When an auditor, or maybe the DoD themselves, looks at your incident response plan, what are they really looking for? Is it just checking boxes?
Yeah.
Or something more?
It's definitely more than checking boxes. They want to see proof, really. Proof that you can quickly contain a threat, that you can protect that vital, controlled, unclassified information, the CUI, and ultimately that you can minimize the overall impact of an attack. It shows you've thought it through and you can actually, execute.
Right, execution is key.
And what's interesting here is that building a solid plan, it isn't about completely reinventing the wheel. It really rests on four foundational pillars. The first one, that's preparation.
Okay, preparation. What does that involve?
Well, it's more than just defining what counts as an incident, like, say, phishing or someone getting unauthorized access. Where the real insight comes in is training your team to spot those pre-incident indicators.
Pre-incident indicators, like warning signs.
Exactly. Those subtle little anomalies that might hint trouble's brewing before it actually explodes. Preparation also means clearly identifying who's on your incident response team, what their roles are. Everyone needs to know their job when an alert goes off. And this is critical, making sure you have the right tools, monitoring systems, good log management, and pre-made reporting templates ready to go.
That distinction between an incident and a pre-incident indicator, that feels like a real game changer. Okay, so once you're prepared, the next step has to be actually seeing when something's wrong. Right. That sounds like it brings us to the second pillar, detection and analysis.
Precisely.
So how do you set up procedures to really spot suspicious activity effectively, not just getting flooded with, generic alerts?
Right. It could be through your CIAM system alerts, that's security information and event management, or maybe reports directly from users. But crucially, you need documented, clear escalation paths. Like, when does the IT team absolutely need to pull in leadership? Or legal counsel. And you also need criteria for severity levels. How do you decide which fires to put out first? Because not all incidents are created equal. That prioritization is key.
Okay, that makes sense. Prioritization under pressure. So pillar 3?
Pillar 3 covers containment, eradication, and recovery. This is where the action really happens.
Yeah.
But here you need to differentiate. There's short-term containment, maybe quickly isolating an affected laptop or server.
Right, stop the bleeding.
Exactly. And then there are the long-term actions. Things like applying the necessary patches, resetting passwords or credentials across the board, cleaning things up properly. Your plan has to spell out the exact steps for storing systems, importantly, from known clean backups.
Clean backups, absolutely.
And something I've seen trip companies up. Keeping those recovery timelines realistic. You need to consider your contractual obligations, how fast you have to be back online. The plan needs to reflect that reality.
Recovery often feels like the end goal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you said 4 pillars.
Yes. The fourth is absolutely vital. Post-incident review. This isn't just a quick look back. It's where the real learning happens. We talk about lessons learned sessions. But the true value is fostering a kind of blameless culture.
Blameless.
Yeah, where every hiccup, every mistake isn't about pointing fingers, but becomes a shared learning opportunity for the whole team. It drives real improvement, not just, box checking for compliance.
That sounds much more productive.
It is. And from that review, you update your policies, maybe refine your training, and of course you must document everything. All of this becomes crucial evidence for your CMMC audit.
Okay, documentation, always key for compliance. So thinking about these pillars, What are some common, maybe avoidable mistakes you see companies making when they try to build or use these plans?
Oh, there are definitely a few common pitfalls. A really big one is treating incident response as purely an IT problem.
Ah, I could see that.
Yeah, legal, HR, senior management, they're absolutely vital players. They have to be involved and know their roles. Another huge mistake, simply not testing the plan.
You mean like doing drills?
Exactly. Tabletop exercises, simulations. I once saw a company during a test realize their emergency contact list was like 6 months out of date.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You really need to run through scenarios, ideally at least once a year. Find the gaps before a real crisis does. And please, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate the plan. When stress levels are high, people need something easy to follow, more like a checklist than, a dense novel.
A checklist under pressure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, but for the small businesses listening, this might still sound like a pretty big mountain to climb. Do you have any practical tips for them? How can they get started without needing a massive security team or budget?
That's a great point, and it's definitely doable for smaller organizations. First off, you don't need to start from a completely blank page. Use existing templates as a starting point. NIST 861, for instance, gives you a really solid baseline to work from.
Okay, NIST 861. Good tip.
Also, if you don't have deep in-house security expertise, lean on your managed service provider or managed security service provider, your MSP or MSSP. They can often handle monitoring and that initial triage for you.
Right, leverage your partners.
Definitely. And make sure your IRP talks to your other CMMC documents. Integrate it with your system security plan, the SSP, and your plan of action and milestones, the POA&M. Consistency is key.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, never underestimate the power of regular employee training. Cost-effective phishing simulations. They're a fantastic way to make everyone a better detector of potential threats. It really boosts your first line of defense.
So it sounds like even small businesses can take concrete steps.
Absolutely. And remember, an effective incident response plan, it's so much more than just another CMMC compliance checkbox. It's a genuinely critical defense measure. It can protect your business from, serious reputational damage, major financial loss, or even losing those vital DoD contracts. It's a business continuity issue, really.
A business continuity issue. That puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
So as you listening work on refining your own incident response plan, maybe consider this. It's not just about protecting data. It's really about building an organizational muscle memory for resilience. How might investing time in a clear, actionable, and crucially regularly tested incident response plan transform not just your compliance posture, but maybe your entire organization's confidence in its ability to weather the storm when unexpected cyber threats inevitably arrive?